Hello, my lovely. You got to where you are by flying the plane while you were building it. You may have a VA or a small team, but you still feel invisible and have this small voice way down in the back of your mind that says, "Who the fuck do you think you are to do blank?" You also know that the women changing the effing world have never been the ones who are busy trying to fit in. So if you're listening to this podcast, it's because some part of you already knows that what got you to this point is not going to get you to where you're going next. You also may be raw dogging accidental success, trying to force your technicolor brain into strategies built for people who don't have wiring like yours. And you are so done building a business where you abandon yourself and your nervous system in the fucking process. You are allowed to stay a feral woman and run a calm business. And maybe for the first time since ADHD came onto your radar or your diagnosis, you are finally starting to realize that who you are was not the thing standing in your way of business growth. The problem has been strategies that came from the normie business coaching industry instead of how your brain works. You need a simplified business plan, the self-trust to execute it, and to get the support of a coach who gets your brain the nuance of business growth for ADHD humans and how it all marries together. Hi. That's me. You need to stop rebuilding your entire offer suite every 6 months because you're secretly terrified you can't keep repeating or sustain your current revenue. You do not need to become quieter, smaller, more polished, less emotional, less ambitious, less intense, less weird, more digestible to be successful. You need to trust yourself enough to build differently because your unrepeatable stack of genius is how you stand out in a fucking sea of sameness. And to be clear, your ADHD ass, hyper focusing, pattern recognizing, deeply feeling, and never stop thinking brain is your unfair fucking advantage. If this intro has you nodding along, good. That means you found your people. Welcome to my cult. We have stickers. One final thing. Becoming visible and growing sustainably means no more Miss People Pleaser, no more hiding your Ferrari brain, no more dimming down jack shit. And if you've ever been told to tone it down as a woman with late diagnosed ADHD, it is time to tone your shit all the way the fuck back up to an 11. Because that, my sweet baby angel, is how you create unstoppable momentum in your business, gain new clients, visibility, and do whatever the fuck you put your mind to. You are not born to be forgettable. And as one of my favorite quotes says, well-behaved women rarely make history, and nothing about you or me is well-behaved, at least not anymore. In today's episode, I am going to continue with my Calm and Clear marketing series. And this is for ADHD brains, neurodivergent brains. This is part 2. Last week, we talked about fixing calls to action. This week, we're going to go deeper into content itself. This week, we're going deeper into your content itself. Who is actually landing on your page? Why most of you are talking to only one of them, and the goldmine of free content already sitting in your DMs and in your Voxer threads and some other places. We'll get to it. But before we do, if you want to become an insider and love a little longer form with some behind the scenes magic, join my newsletter, The Frequency. It's specifically designed for female founders in leadership and coaching diagnosed with ADHD in midlife. If you are done with coaches in the normie business coaching industry and you're ready to see what it's like to work with someone who actually gets you and understands your feral funhouse of a brain, this is where you book your free 30-minute call with me. Book it today. This is your first step into my universe. And this is how we figure out where your business is feeling sticky for your brain specifically and keeping you stuck, and what support makes the most sense for you based on where you are right now. Not everyone belongs in the same place, strategy, offer, etc. And it's my job to help you figure out what business growth looks like when you stop forcing yourself into straitjacket strategies that just don't fit your brain and start building a calm business that works for you. Also, I am a business growth strategist, which is women in leadership and coaching with late diagnosed ADHD. You're my specialty. You are who I work with day in and day out. Who better to help you than someone just like you? The links for The Frequency and to book the call are in the show notes. Okay, let's get into it. Welcome back to the ADHD Entrepreneur, the podcast for feral coaches diagnosed with ADHD in midlife, late diagnosed, who refuse to play by the fucking rules. That is not how we are made. Now that you're listening, you're part of my cult. We have stickers. Oh my God. If you are watching, you get second view. They went up in my stories. So we have our frying pan of love. Oh my God. This was done with my branding and now it's a sticker. And 300%, because there's this ridiculous book that says that people with ADHD are 300% more likely to own businesses. Like, you can only have 100%. So it's like this little joke. So when I say we have stickers, I'm not kidding. They're here. And they are for the women who come into coaching with me because I love a good trucker hat. I love a good t-shirt, but stickers fit on everything, especially our emotional support water bottle, which I have mine. As I was saying, we have stickers, ADHD, and a whole lot of women finally realizing they were never the actual fucking problem. Shocker. I'm Karrie. I am your host. I am the chief weirdo of Karrie Out Loud. One of my clients called me the fairy god mentor to all women with ADHD. I love that moniker. And I'm living proof that you can be a feral woman and still run a calm ass business because those things are not mutually exclusive. If you're new here, hi, hello. I'm glad you found us. Go listen to the trailer after this episode so you can hear more of my story, why I work exclusively with women like us, and why I believe the normie business coaching industry has continually handed you Android software when you run on iOS, baby. If you're not new here, welcome back, you sexy little business weirdo. That's what we're rolling with. It's almost episode 200. We are tightening things up a little bit around here, we being me and my behind the scenes maven. And I have something really cool planned for episode 200. So stick around. But I have a quick favor before we jump in. If this podcast helps your ADHD ass at all, you need to go leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple or Spotify. And yes, I actually read the reviews personally because I'm nosy and I'm emotionally attached. The other thing is I'm introducing something. Every month, one of you will get picked for a full written Instagram audit by me for $0.00. I have literally never done this before, but I did one the other day and it was really fucking fun. And it's pretty simple for me. Giving away one a month would give you a little bit of an edge. So I can help you tighten up your social media. You and your team, whatever. I will look at your messaging, bio, content, calls to action, who you're talking to, and let you know if anything's missing, where I see people would drop off. Because I don't just know Instagram, I know marketing psychology, audience, the way they behave, business growth strategy, and how to grow a business in a way that actually works for your fucking brain. So to enter, you want to leave both a rating and review, then DM me a screenshot. Oh Lord. Okay, that's going to be fun. You're all going to be like, ah! And then send the screenshot so I can enter you. Get your ass over on Apple Podcasts, Susan. Do the thing. If you're an actual Susan, hey, what's up, girl? Okay. So there are 3 types of humans who are landing on your content. This could be your page, your podcast, your social media page, your podcast, anywhere you exist in the online arena. Okay. And most of you are writing or speaking to one of the 3, and that is why you feel stuck as fuck right now. How do I know? Ask me how I know, y'all. Ask me how I know. Been there, done that. Okay. So here's the thing I want you to understand. And I'm not going to be using a bunch of marketing jargon, but I'm going to use some because this is really important for you to understand because it is marketing 101. Again, we talk about it. Last week, I kind of alluded to this a little bit, but here I'm going to go into a lot more depth. All right. The first thing is top of funnel. Okay. I don't want you getting too caught up on the terms, tofu, top of funnel, whatever. You can actually use those terms if you use Chat GPT or Claude to help you take a topic or something you want to talk about and show you the difference between a top of funnel hook, a middle of funnel hook, and a bottom of funnel hook. So if you do not have me in your pocket, you have one of those if you choose to use AI. So top of funnel, all it means is brand new people. They just found you. They found a friend sent you to their podcast. They don't know you. They may have vicarious trust in you through somebody referencing you or sending them to your account, but they don't trust you yet. They're just curious. Okay. Next is middle of funnel. These are the human beings who've been around a little bit. They're reading your content, they're watching your stories, and they're figuring out what you do. This middle of funnel process is where you answer questions that are like frequently asked questions. And I have, I actually have an entire document that goes over these three with actual examples. So if you are curious about that, just send me a DM over on Instagram. But middle of funnel are those people who just need a little bit more information. They're usually binging. If you have a podcast, they're binging your podcast. If you have social media and some channel, they're binging that. Likely they're binging it. Okay. And these are the people who are maybe I've been following you for a year people, because there are some people who convert in 15 days, 5 days, immediately. I've seen it across the board, right? And other people follow you for a longer period of time, watch you, see you grow, and realize they want to have you as their coach, their mentor, to lead them, right? So they like your things. They get the value. They're getting to know you better. They need more information. That may be how their brain works, okay? Right. The last one is bottom of funnel. These are the people who are like, let me in. They have their credit card halfway out. They're ready. Now, you may think, well, if they're ready, they're going to go to my bio and go into the girl. Come on now. No, you got to invite them. You got to invite them into the DMs. They need you to point them towards the door. You may be like rolling your eyes and be like, Karrie, people are not that stupid. No, it's not stupid. It's about the fact that we're getting information and data so quickly. So the more times in your content you actually invite them into your door, the more of a possibility that they're like, let me look at the door. Is this my door? When the time comes. That means if you're sending emails to that person over 6 months, and they may not be opening your email, but they are seeing your name in their email every week, let's say. That's for me, you guys, twice. Once when I announced the podcast, so that would be today. Wednesday is when I'm recording this. I record a week in advance now. What I want you to understand about these three different, I don't like buckets. Like, see, the word funnel, okay, like we're weird about words, y'all. Okay, we know this. We're weird about words, okay? For me, I see funnel and I just see something you use to put oil in your car, and I wouldn't want to put humans in that. So I like to call it like the client road. Some people call it journey. Some people call it ascension journey. I have been using the term the road to explain my life for probably, that was funny, over 20 years. So that makes sense for me to call it that because it's what I've fucking always called it. Okay. So your client road. So one of the things I want you to understand is that this moves them through the sales process when you do it well. There's no right, okay? It's well, when you do this well, when you understand it, you can move people through to talking to you in the DMs more quickly. You know, if that's the goal, you can turn up the middle of funnel content or turn it down. You can add a couple more bottom of funnel pieces of content. You can add in different kinds of calls to action. But here's the thing that you need to get. A lot of coaches, like I said, are writing for one of these demographics, accidentally ignoring the other two, and oftentimes writing content so vague it doesn't speak to any of them. And we talked about this before, the journal entry with just a picture, right? And no context, no nothing. And again, yes, of course, people are going to maybe look at your LinkedIn bio sometimes, but why not give them the information that they need in that moment where they are? And if, like I said, I think I found my train of thought here. If you have people who are bottom of funnel in your email and you are opening this door and opening this invitation and pointing them to this, and they're not ready yet, when they are ready, guess who's top of mind? Even if they haven't read the email, they're just seeing your name in there over and over again. I know I'm repeating myself from earlier, but I'm trying to come on back around to the thought. And if you've ever been here, you understand what I'm trying to do. It's I'm like breadcrumbing. I think that's what I use here. So the first 3 things I would look at as a business growth strategist to late diagnosed ADHD women that are keeping you invisible. That's middle of funnel. Here are some things I'm going to take a look at. Have you looked at these? If you're not looking at these, why aren't you looking at these? Should you be looking at these? I don't love the word should, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, awareness, right? Awareness. So for someone who's been around, they want a little deeper teaching, but again, it doesn't go that deep. You probably are like 5 levels deeper than you need to be. You want them to nod along and be like, dude, yes, totally. Help them feel seen, but not just seen, heard, felt. They want to know you and get it, like to your bones. This would be content that feels helpful and things you do with clients after they hire you. Another great thing to do here is frequently ask questions. What are your people asking you nonstop? Do pieces of content, have many chat attach them, and say, hey, if you want to learn more about this number, right? Bottom line, paint the picture of what working with you feels like. A little bit of looks like, but what does it feel like? What do they feel like when they come in? What do they feel like for the first 30 days? Do they feel like, shit, she just put the pedal to the metal, or we're easing in, this is exactly what I need, right? That's kind of stuff. Paint the picture of what working with you feels like. Tell them what'll happen in the first 30 days of working with you. Like, give them an idea of truly what it's like to be in your fucking universe, all right? And bottom of funnel. If you are tired of doing this alone and you're ready to rebuild with somebody who gets your brain, here is how we can work together. DM me the word chat to get the conversation started. Done. It is direct. I know you've been thinking about it and you keep thinking about it, and then your kiddo starts screaming, and then that happens. That's why you ask multiple times and continue to have the call to action. Remember in the last episode, Nike advertises not for the 95% who aren't ready to buy, for the 5% who are, or for the 95% who aren't, to just keep having that top of mind recognition. That's what you're doing in your content. You need all 3. You need all 3, and you can kind of adjust when you need more middle of funnel and to move people through more towards having conversations with you. Use those calls to action like we talked about last time that are more of that middle of funnel. Have a conversation with me as opposed to book me now, DM me for the link. Okay, those are 2 different things. One's middle of funnel, one's bottom. Next, where does this front yard, house, backyard, where does this go? Your grid, reels, and carousels. This is where your future clients binge your shit. This is top of funnel and middle of funnel. Brand new people and the ones who are warming up. The long game. This builds trust. This is how the algorithm gets you in front of new humans. Okay. Sometimes, though, you will put a piece of bottom of funnel content there. But for the most part, you can do just all top of funnel and just funnel them into your email if that's what you want to do. Or you can do top of funnel, middle of funnel. It just depends. Like, there's so many different ways we could, arrange this. So this is the back of the house. These are your stories. And this is where you do a majority of your bottom of funnel. How the sauce is made. Show behind the scenes. You not polished all the time, unless that is your brand and you want to be more polished all the time when you are forward facing, no matter what. That's okay too. Not everybody wants that. The ones watching your story, these are the warmest people to you. And stop just thinking like warmest people next to me who are going to be future clients. Yes, that's a possibility. You know what else? Referrals and networking. We're going to talk about a little bit more about that, but don't just assume they're watching you because they may just dig you as a person. Me and my behind the scenes Maven Brooke, I don't know if you've heard the episode we did, but we talked about how she was resisting becoming my friend because I was just talking to her because I just thought she's fucking cool. And she's like, what does she want from me? And I know why she was that way. It literally had 0 to do with me. And I didn't ever take it personally, right? And then the day came where she was like, wow, she really doesn't want anything from me. She was like, oh, okay. So again, I don't just look at everybody watching stories in my DMs as this is a future client. Okay. You can, but you interact with people oftentimes interacting with people and just continuing to talk about your business in your stories does the trick. They watch closely, they're warmed up, they already trust you. This is direct invitations. Book the call, DM me now, to DM me ready, not chat, ready. Apply here, doors open, here's the link, etc. And throw again a piece of bofu, bottom of funnel, that backyard there, all the way in the house, into the best part of the house, your backyard. It's this gorgeous, fantastic place that's really going to make them feel really well cared for, right? It's like the best backyard barbecue ever. That's the fun part. And the other thing is, make sure that at the top of your grid, you have the 3-pin post. My friend Shannon McKinstry, I love that woman. Man, she is just freaking genius when it comes to Instagram. If you do not know her, go know her. To know her is to love her. Shannon McKinstry. One of the things that she said that I heard once, and I was like, dude, yup, is that treat your grid like you are landing on a website. When somebody lands on a website, what's at the top? About me, testimonials or reviews, and here's what I offer. Or, here's the product, here's my service. Those are the 3 things. Make sure you have those at the top of your grid. Okay. If you have any questions about like what that looks like, let me know, because I can gladly answer that for you. The opposite side of the coin, where there is no bottom of funnel, it's all bottom of funnel. They don't know what it's like to work with you. They don't necessarily know your personality. They haven't learned what kind of coach, what kind of mentor, what kind of leader you are. In the grid, that stays. It is forever, or until you archive it. Your stories go bye-bye in 24 hours unless you save them to a highlight. The end, right? So why would you put welcome and helpful content all the time in your stories that disappear in 24 hours? Those are the people who are usually paying attention, watching you, chilling with you, hanging with you. Those are people you want to talk to regularly. Now, last but not least, I am going to talk about the repurposing gold mine. And before I do, y'all, I have tried to make these 20 minutes long. I've tried, my sweet baby angels, but I cannot. Every time it's like, I'll write an episode and then I have to cut it in half. It's too long. No. Okay. So we're going 30, put it on 1.5, put it on 2. It's 15 minutes. The new intro, which you may have already heard. You can just fast forward past that part and just come right here. If you've already heard all that, that's for people who've never been here before. And I just want them to be like, hello, I understand why I'm here. Last but not least, we're going to talk about what I call your repurposing gold mine. And you're either going to be like, oh, dude, I totally do this. Or you're going to be like, dude, I didn't even think of that. And do you want to know how I know? Because I hadn't thought of it until the day I thought of it. And if you have ADHD, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because we're not dumb heads, but sometimes that information takes a minute to come. Okay. So normie business advice is like, post every day, post fresh content. Don't repeat yourself. The algorithm hates duplicates. Blah, blah, blah. That's just yodeling into the void. It's just a bunch of bullshit. I only take Instagram advice or something, any kind of social media advice from somebody who I actually know manages accounts. Literally, Shannon, like I was telling you, has her finger on the pulse of Instagram and social media in general. And she is where I go. This is the opposite of truth in marketing. The more you repeat yourself, the better. Here's your fun new ADHD side quest. You ready? I want you to pick one topic to talk about for the next 30 days and figure out 100 different angles you could take. Okay, 50. Just kidding, 50. I want you to just get out a pen and a piece of paper and write down the primary focus of what you want to talk about. And then I want you to write a bunch of different ways you could talk about it. Just do that. You'll see that you can say the same thing over and over and over again and kick yourself in the, little bit of novelty. We like that. First thing I really want you to understand about repurposing is it really is for any day, but we all have energy ebbs and flows. We have times where we feel a little lost in our business. We're going through some business puberty. Hey, Beth, if you're listening, I miss you. I love you. That was one of my clients, created the business puberty moniker as well for her business, as how she was feeling at the time her and I started working together. And we all go through it, and we don't only go through it once. I wish it's like It's like every once in a while you have these moments where you're like, you're growing, and boom, and you shoot forward. So that happens. Okay. So that may have you slammed or spent, or your brain is just not fucking braining that day, or you have back to back calls and very little energy, or a sick kid, or your dog ate something and is puking at your feet, or it's your luteal phase, or it's perimenopause and it's perimenopausing and your brain is like, okay. Some days you are a potato and it is fine, but your business still needs to run. So guess what you get to do? Repurpose, because it's not lazy. It's not cheating. It's actually one of the most ADHD friendly things you can do. And the best part about it is that you have things you can do over and over again. You can save them for a rainy day. You can save a talking head reel you did at one point. You can save some B-roll. You can put these all into a folder in your phone, label it content and dash, right? So content and gym, content of me with the kids, content dash this. So that way you have a couple of content folders, but there's the main things that are you, your personality. What are the things you're filming? Because you're not here to film so you can live a life. You're filming your life and making it fit. It's the other way around. You think it's, you probably have it asked backwards. And that, again, when I say these things so frank, it's not judgmental. It's like, I just know how your brain thinks, or how your brain likely thinks. And that's what I'm spitting out here. But this is repeating, repurposing. So let's talk about a couple of different ways that this can look. Podcast, it's an anchor. Everything goes downstream. So, like, I could take this episode today, take the transcript and pull hooks from my own words. And I could make reels and captions and carousels and newsletter and a Substack and thread and a partridge in a pear tree. Okay. I can make any of those things with words that came out of my mouth when I'm talking to you like this. And it's actually the most natural, instead of me sitting and trying to think of a hook, because oftentimes hooks come out of my mouth without me realizing it, that just need a little bit of a tweak for being able to be a hook. Now, if you're in all those places I just mentioned and you don't have at least a VA or a small team, we definitely need to talk. Please DM me immediately. You are in too many places. No podcast, I got you. Use call transcripts with your clients. Use Voxer messages. If you buy the pro version, you get translation. I don't know, maybe it is in the non-pro version, but I know you get it in the pro version. Get it, copy, paste, save, DM exchanges with you and clients. Again, you'll make these all anonymous, but these are just fucking ideas with people you're actually working with who are going through the exact issues future clients are going through right now while they're looking for you. Take these from actual interactions with your FYS dreamy clients who you're working with now and truly mine it for your own wisdom. It's in there. It's awesome. Here's the deal. The DM conversations, the thing, these are the places where future clients will be like, oh, fuck. Or your client may go, oh, fuck, that's a post right there. If you sent a Voxer message to a client when you went off on a tangent and it made your client cry or had an emotional resonance with her, it's going to talk to somebody else so that they can find you the right person to help them. They're going to see themselves in that. They're going to put themselves in the shoes of somebody who works with you when they hear this thing that they're familiar with. Okay. The thing out of your mouth on a coaching call where you were like almost embarrassed by it was too good. That's a carousel. Have your own fucking coach that you are being mentored by. Or if you end up, I coach you, ask to record the fucking call and then ask for the transcript, or ask for the call and drop it into Riverside and get the transcript, or whatever you need to do to get that transcript. Because I'm sure when you're talking to your coach or mentor, you are hyper fucking clear on what it is you're saying. And then you turn around and maybe turn the camera on. You're like, da, 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 I don't know what to say, So that's another place. That's another place. And it's your thoughts coming out of your mouth. Mind these conversations for your own words. Yes, ChatGPT and Claude are helpful, but here's the thing. Everything we get new in life has a pendulum, okay? We swung from not having a generative AI because we've had it. Alexa, hello, hi Alexa. Okay, that, right? So generative, which I started. Hi, I don't know if my friend Alex is listening, but my friend Alex, she got really into it and she really helped me get very proficient in ChatGPT. And then my friend Madi, who was my mentor for a little while, who's like fucking, whoa, I just want to live in the man's brain, I tell you. And I don't trust many men in business. I trust him implicitly. He's the real fucking deal. And he basically taught me marketing 101 and ChatGPT at the same time. It was like this fucking masterclass, right? So what I want you to understand is it swung and we're all like, woohoo. And now we're at this point where like, I can read a caption and I know it's generated by ChatGPT or Claude. And if you are copying and pasting and going in there and just doing that, like, it's readable. Okay. So now what's going to stand out is people who are specialists and who also write a lot of their own copy. Okay. And you don't need to do a million reels or a million carousels. If you want to experiment on trial reels, because that's a free way to market yourself to brand new people, you don't even have to, it's another way to do ads without doing ads. That's a great way to do it. Just knowing that you have all of this content and everything available to you is why I'm going to give you an action step. Here we go. Pick a clear number of reels and carousels for this week based on your bandwidth, your actual bandwidth. Not, okay, I say this with so much love, not what you wish it was, not what you wish it was. Okay. Sometimes it's not what we wish it was for a little while. And then it's back and better. You're going to have these ebbs and flows. You got to plan for that. You want to have a sustainable long-term business, you have to plan around the ebbs and the flows, right? Pick a clear number of reels and carousels, a clear number of pieces of content, let's say on your Instagram or maybe TikTok, whatever that number is, whatever your bandwidth is. Decide and stop. Then any reels you make, send to trial reels also, especially if you're in edits, because if you're in Instagram's edits, it keeps a copy for you. You can download it anytime you want to without the watermark and use it wherever you want to. So you don't even have to put words or anything on it. You can just download the raw footage and you always have that there and you can just keep duplicating. You can have the same 10 fucking reels, just change the music, change the B-roll, keep the caption, keep the hook. Okay. But I want you to understand that there are so many ways that your brain may not be seeing because we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. Okay. So go into something like trial reels and test out hooks. Use one word, use the other one, see which gets further. That testing ground is so fucking valuable. And I know from personal experience, I could not get out of 200 view jail for 7 years, bitches. That's how it felt, at least. And I just got out. And you know what I did? I added one additional qualifier to my hook, which was instead of late diagnosed ADHD, was diagnosed with ADHD in your 40s. That simple tweak turned it on. That's why I work with people who know their shit in social media. I'm not a dumb head. I don't want to teach you guys bullshit that is like, this worked for me, so it's going to work for you. No, I'm going to give you something rooted in what actually works. And then you're going to learn the rules so you can fucking break them, right? You're going to learn the rules by growing your account, utilizing maybe some of these rules and some more aggressive strategy. And then as you grow and get bigger and get more visible, these rules don't apply as much. This is always going to be about sustainability with me. Always, always, always. For trial reels, your call to action is always going to be top of funnel. Grab my freebie, sign up for my newsletter, listen to my podcast. Low friction, easy, yes. Not trying to sell a $3,000 package who met you 14 seconds ago, which can happen. It's not more of the standard, especially when you're working with somebody where it's an investment. I'm an investment. What I want you to understand here is the goal is to get them off the busy streets of the Instagram or of the Instagram. I sound like an old lady. Are you on the Facebook? Are you on the Instagram? The goal is to get her on your list or your podcast, into your world. Hear it this way. We want to take them off the busy streets of Instagram or TikTok or wherever they are and bring them into your world where you own the fucking list. Don't forget that part, because it's not like, oh, email marketing doesn't work. No, it's just a way to share a little bit more of what you do, your philosophy behind the scenes, those type of things. All of this podcast, all of it, you're moving them to middle of funnel directly in your DMs, in your newsletter, in your podcasts. You're showing them more of who you are than just 2,200 characters, which my behind the scenes maven said once, and I snagged it because it was so genius, but I always give her credit because I love her. So what I want you to think is savable. What would you save? How does it need to be worded? Think shareable. What makes it shareable? I want you to think follower growth. I want you to think this trial reels or wherever you want to throw this up is a playground. That's it. And I want to say one final thing before I finish today's episode. I'm going to look you in your eyeballs. Hold on. If you're watching on YouTube, okay, you sweet girl, I'm watching your eyeballs right now. Social media is not that fucking serious. It's not. Take your marketing seriously. SEO, getting searched for. Do you know where a majority of my clients come from? This podcast. Do you know where a majority of my networking is done? Instagram, that's more nurturing. And I'm considering playing around over on TikTok. I did a couple there. That place terrifies me. Feels like the Autobahn. And like Instagram's more like 100 miles an hour. I love that. 250 miles an hour makes me like want to shit my pantaloons. So okay, listen, this is me coach to coach or founder to founder. If you are over onto TikTok and you want to trade secrets, a secret or two here. I am so down to trade secrets, to trade tips. So what do I need to know? Because I hear so many fucking things. Post 3 times a day. It doesn't really matter. Da, 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 da. It's like more of it's a search engine. That's really why I want to experiment there. Because Pinterest is also a search engine, but Pinterest bores me, and I will not show up there for something that fucking bores me. TikTok is literally a ADHDer's wet dream because it just keeps feeding you the dopamine hits, which can also be a negative, and why you might need to get yourself, if you have an iPhone, fucking Opal that you can't break into. The other thing is, okay, look, I know I'm going a little over right now, but I want you to know something. If you get sucked into the scroll hole on Instagram, Facebook, either of those, there is a thing called Meta Business Suite where you don't actually have to be inside of either app and you can access it from your laptop. It also has a place to put notes on the right. If you want to, you can use your separate CRM. But this is something that can make it so you're like stopping that scroll. Okay. So with that, we will finish today's episode. Like I said, these are going to be a little bit more like around 30 minutes, but today's topic was just a little more top heavy and it felt like it needed additional time. And since this is more teaching and more strategy, which I'm bringing here, so you can now understand what it sounds like to sit on a call with me behind the scenes. So you can hear what the strategy is like and your brain is going, yep, that works for me. Or nope, that ain't it. I want that for you. Either way. So here's the part of the podcast where I double dog dare you to do one thing after the episode besides the action step. One additional thing for yourself. I want you to DM Karrie out loud, that's me, on Instagram, and tell me the number one thing in your business right now that feels the most sticky. Are you at a revenue impasse where it's like, no matter what the fuck you do, you cannot get past XYZ number of dollars? Okay. And I don't care if your business is, if you're like a thousandaire or 100,000aire or somebody runs $1 million business. I don't care, because I understand strategy, but I also understand ADHD brains. I understand how to help women support their businesses all along that road. Tell me what episode you listened to. Where did you see yourself? Are you overcomplicating things? Send it. I read every one of them. And one DM can actually fucking change everything for you. I've seen it happen in client after client. It's your turn. DM me, my turn. Okay. But for reals, go send it. I got you. And next Wednesday, we will do part 3 of the Calm and Clear Marketing series drops. And we're going to switch gears a little bit. I'm going to talk to you about something I spoke a little bit about earlier. And it's one of the most underrated, super unsexy, very unflashy, fuck you money making channels in your business that you are likely not tapping into. And you are going to leave hundreds of thousands of dollars on the fucking table over the lifetime of your business by not tapping in to this golden place, which I have done in every business I have owned at that time. And it rhymes with fret furking. I'm going to talk about it feral style, though, in the next episode. Don't miss it next Wednesday. Until next time I see you, I've got you, and talk to each demographic and watch what starts to happen to your lead generation and tell me how it goes. I'm fucking rooting for you always. Stay feral, motherfucker.